CPUs, RAM, networks. You hear these words and think, okay, here comes the tech deep dive. But what if I told you this is actually a business strategy session? Seriously. Because the biggest thing holding your company back might not be marketing or sales. It could be that you just don't speak IT. Well, in the next few minutes, we're going to fix that. You know that meeting, right? We've all been there. A new project is on the table, and then suddenly the acronyms start flying, and you're just trying to keep your head above water. It's not just confusing, that confusion is a gap where really good business ideas can just fall right through the cracks. And that's exactly where you come in. Look, the goal here isn't to turn you into a coder or an IT expert. It's to make you a translator. Someone who can stand in that gap, who understands the language of tech well enough to connect it directly to real business goals. That's a superpower. Okay, so what does being a translator actually look like in the real world? How does it affect the bottom line? Let's get into the practical side of things because this stuff is impacting your work every single day, probably more than you even realize. I mean, just think about your average workday. It is literally built on a foundation of tech. You've got your video calls, your cloud docs, all those collaboration tools. The pandemic completely changed how we all work. So making smart calls on this tech, whether it's for your own home office or a new app for the whole company, that's not just an IT problem anymore. It's a core business skill. But here's the thing. To make those smart decisions, you can't just look at one tool at a time. You've got to see the bigger picture, kind of like an architect's plan. Every single successful company has a digital blueprint that shows how all the pieces of technology are supposed to work together. And that blueprint has a name. It's called enterprise architecture. Think of it as the master plan that connects the company's biggest, loftiest goals all the way down to the actual computers sitting on your desk. It's what makes sure every single dollar spent on tech is actually pushing the business forward. Now, all this technology lives inside something we call an information system. And here's the crucial part. It is not just about the machines. An information system includes people and processes with the technology. It's about how all three work together to get the right info to the right person at exactly the right time. So, if we zoom in a little bit, right at the technical heart of that information system, you'll find the application system. This is where we get to the real nuts and bolts. The hardware, the software, the data, and the network that makes everything else possible. Okay, let's do it. Let's pop the hood and take a quick look at the essential tools inside that hardware box. First up, the brains of the operation. You've definitely heard of the CPU. Think of it as a brilliant, focused taskmaster. It has a few really powerful cores, which makes it amazing at tackling big, complex jobs, one after the other. But then you've got its cousin, the GPU. The GPU is a master multitasker. Instead of a few strong cores, it has, get this, tens of thousands of simpler ones. It's built to handle a giant wave of little tasks all at once. So what does that actually mean for the business? Well, it's all about picking the right tool for the job. If your finance team is crunching huge complex models in Excel, you need a beast of a CPU. But if marketing is rendering beautiful videos, or your data scientists are training an AI model, a powerful GPU is going to be what gets that job done fast. Okay, next up is memory. Now, computers really have two different kinds. They've got a working memory and a long-term memory. The working memory is called RAM. It's super duper fast, but it's temporary. It only holds what you have open right now. Then you have storage. It's a bit slower, but it's permanent. It's where all your saved files live. Honestly, here's the absolute best way to think about it. RAM is your desk space. It holds everything you're actively working on. Storage is your filing cabinet. It holds everything else for later. So, if you want to have a ton of apps and tabs open at once without your computer slowing down, you need a bigger desk, more RAM. Need to save more huge files? You need a bigger filing cabinet, more storage. It's really that simple. All right, so we've got the brains and we've got the memory. But how does any of this stuff actually, do anything? Well, it all comes down to a really fundamental three-step process. Pretty much every single thing a computer does follows this simple dance. Input, processing, output. First, you give it some data. That's the input. Then, all those parts we just talked about, the CPU, the GPU, the RAM, they all get to work on that data. That's the processing. And finally, it gives you back a result. That's the output. Input, process, output. That's it. And we are surrounded by these input and output devices all day long. Your keyboard and mouse, classic input. Your webcam and your microphone for that Zoom call, also input. And on the flip side, your screen, your printer, your headphones, Those are all output devices, feeding that processed information right back to you. So, how does just knowing this simple concept create business value? Well, take a look at the QR code on this invoice. The old way, the old input method, was somebody typing in all those numbers by hand. It's slow and people make mistakes. The new input method? A quick scan with your phone. That one little change automates the whole thing, saves a ton of time, and pretty much gets rid of errors. And it gets even more powerful. A QR code is a one-to-one scan, right? But with technologies like RFID, it goes to a whole new level. Instead of scanning the barcode on every single shirt in a warehouse, an RFID reader can scan an entire rack, or heck, an entire room of tied items all at once. Just imagine what that does for managing inventory. And that's the real takeaway here. The CPU, GPU, RAM, storage, all these input devices, they aren't just tech specs on a box. They're levers. And understanding which lever to pull for which business problem, that's the difference between a small improvement and a genuine innovation. This knowledge isn't trivia, it's a strategic advantage. So now you have the basic vocabulary. You can be that translator. You can look at the digital blueprint, and you understand the tools in the toolbox. The question isn't if you can bridge that gap between business and tech anymore. The only question left is, what problem are you going to solve first?